And we will get to those stories in just a minute, but we start with the blockage and the traffic backup of part of 6th Avenue westbound. This is a live look right here. Traffic is now, it was all blocked off, but as of just a handful of minutes ago, traffic is now starting to move in one of the 3 lanes. A car fire happened in the right lane underneath Federal in Denver, forcing each of the lanes to close for cleanup. You can clearly see that dark smoke that was visible for miles. But again, they have 1 lane open to traffic now. We did not see the smoke on some of the recent live cameras, so that's good. And cars are moving slowly. Well, thanks for joining us at 9 News at Noon. I'm Sam Shocker. No one was hurt when an Army helicopter made a hard landing on a Gilpin County mountainside Tuesday. But homeowners near the site are now concerned about impact to their water supply. The Black Hawk went down on the east side of Thornton Mountain, north of Golden Gate Canyon State Park. That site is also just off of a homeowner's property line. The homeowner is now concerned that a reported fuel leak that happened during the crash. The leak is near her and her neighbor's water source. And while she is grateful no one was hurt, she wants better communication from investigators.
No follow-up either about the fuel spill, where it's literally crashed above this creek right here that comes down to our well and our pond. They didn't have any proper spill containment or anything. They had a bucket.
County officials said in a statement that the leak has been mitigated and they are now working with state and federal officials for any testing that may be needed. The Army is leading the investigation. The NTSB has released its final investigative report into the emergency evacuation of an American Airlines flight at DIA last summer. Investigators found that a safety valve on the plane melted during takeoff, releasing tire pressure. The tire and wheels eventually caught fire, forcing the crew to initiate an emergency evacuation. According to the report, passengers exited the plane despite the captain telling them to remain seated. But there were no reported injuries among the 173 passengers and 6 crew members on board. Some areas of the state could see more storms today. Last night's rain was enough to flood Elbert County Road 194, as you see right there. 2 vehicles got stranded, unable to move. Crews helped everyone get out safely. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But again, if a flood or a road is flooded, never try to cross it because the water can be deeper and move much faster than it looks. Well, Chris Bianchi here now with our 9 News Weather Impact team. Chris, where there will be any rain, storms today, certain parts of the state?
Yeah, we already have a few that are popping up here in the foothills and in the mountains. The storms today, they're going to be quite different from yesterday's. The overall storm intensity and coverage is going to be considerably lower today compared to yesterday. Lookout Mountain, we've got a fair bit of drier at the surface, and that is going to be our inhibiting factor for getting some of those prolific rains like what we saw in Elbert County last night. We're already in the mid-80s in Denver, low to mid-80s across much of the state, and also in the mountains. We're in the 60s and 70s today. We'll top out at 90 degrees. This will be our 57th day so far this year at or above 90 degrees, and a slim chance for an afternoon gusty shower or storm. Most of you stay dry today. 80s, 90s, eastern plains, 70s and 80s in the high country. I-25 corridor, there is a level 1 risk for severe weather. That is going to be mainly for damaging winds this afternoon and this evening. I'm going to get into detail on that forecast as well as a look at that Broncos preseason forecast for tomorrow as well. All that coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, Chris, looking forward to it. Well, bears are not only showing up in more of our urban areas thanks to the drought, but they're showing up near more schools. Yesterday afternoon, a couple of bear cubs were near a Montessori school in Castle Pines during pickup. Luckily, the cubs stayed in a tree, but deputies were brought in to help kids get to their parents safely. And we also learned this morning, Weld County Schools sent out a note that they were taking precautions today because one was near 2 schools, Valley High School and Gilcrest Elementary. Colorado State Patrol has released new information about the 2 troopers shot during ambushes in Teller County this week. We've also learned the identity of the shooter. Skylar Hain on the left was seriously injured after a driver, 51-year-old Robert Richards Jr., opened fire on him during a traffic stop. CSP says he was shot several times but was able to drive himself to the hospital. They report he is in serious condition but is doing well. Clark Tinan on the right was also shot while responding to that shooting, but his injuries were minor enough to be treated and released from the hospital on Tuesday. Investigators say Robert Richards, the gunman, was shot and killed by law enforcement. The coroner says he was from Loveland. The fired city manager for Golden will get about $155,000 in severance after the city let him go for his handling of a racist act at a fire station. The city council approved the package this week, according to our reporting partners at Colorado Politics. Former city manager Scott Vargo will get 6 months of salary plus nearly $12,000 in medical benefits. Someone hung a doll that looks like Snoop Dogg inside a stairwell at a fire station back in March, but the city didn't openly acknowledge it until July. Upset El Paso County residents are sharing their frustration about Bucky's new attempt for a second Colorado location today. The County Board of Commissioners is holding a meeting right now regarding the zoning. Bucky's is looking to potentially build near the El Paso-Douglas County Line Road along I-25, but the commissioners have to decide if Bucky's actually qualifies as a convenience store under the Land Development Code. Residents have been telling commissioners the company is not being truthful in their intent, and the station will not benefit their community. This hearing was only about that land use question and not whether it will be built. That will require county reviews and approval. Within the last 30 minutes, President Trump signed an executive order to change the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America. Now, Lake America separates New York State from Ontario, Canada. Trump cannot force Canada to follow his preferred naming convention. However, so this only applies to the U.S. And some positive news that's new at noon. Colorado education officials say school leaders' hard work is paying off. Last year, they saw the lowest statewide chronic absenteeism rate in the past 4 years. It dropped nearly 1% to 27.5%. It was 28.4% in the 2024-2025 school year. The statewide attendance rate is now 91.5%. Not too shabby. Well done.